On the outskirts of the ancient city of Rome, workers are busy laying the groundwork for a new McDonald's branch. But before the team can complete the project, they spot something remarkable hidden in the dirt. For almost 2,000 years, this secret has been lurking beneath the streets, and now it has finally been revealed. Workers uncovered a dazzling discovery while building this one-of-a-kind McDonald's restaurant. Soon, laborers were switching places with archaeologists, and a long, painstaking excavation had begun. For years, they chipped away at the dazzling discovery, uncovering more of the distant past. Though what of the restaurant that was supposed to be built on top of this historic site? Rather than bulldoze ahead with their plans, McDonald's bosses decided on an entirely different approach. And now, the Frataki branch is one of the most unique in the whole world. Instead of building over history, they have decided to embrace it, and the results are something truly spectacular. What did workers and archaeologists find buried beneath this future McDonald's site, then? And how did the fast food chain incorporate such an unexpected discovery into its plans? Well, the truth is an incredible story of the public and private sectors working together to preserve the history of our ever-evolving world. The story began in 2014 when workers arrived in Frataki to begin construction on a new McDonald's outlet. Located some 12 miles from central Rome, this modern municipality was once the site of Bovoli, an ancient town. Today, though, it is more commonly known as an up-and-coming urban area. According to Italian news website The Local, McDonald's operates around 600 branches throughout the country. And this is actually one of the highest concentrations of the fast food outlet in all of Europe. Yet despite this huge share of the market, the company continues to open new stores across the country. This time, it was decided that Frataki was the ideal location. Though unlike many parts of the world, Rome and the surrounding area are not the easiest places to begin a new construction project. With a long history stretching all the way back to the Stone Age, it's a region that's heavily steeped in the past. And if you're digging down beneath the city, you can never be quite sure what you might find. Back in 2016, for example, work on a new metro station near the famous Colosseum revealed a network of ancient chambers covering almost 10,000 square feet. According to experts, the 39-room complex was used to house members of the military during the time of Emperor Hadrian, almost 2,000 years ago. Later, in 2018, construction workers stumbled on another treasure buried beneath the streets of Italy's capital city. This time, a project to extend an aqueduct underground uncovered a pristine Roman tomb containing 4 sets of human remains. Speaking to the New York Times, archaeologists admitted that the find was pure luck, they just happened to be digging in the right place at the right time. In fact, archaeological discoveries are so common in Rome that construction companies must take special care when working in the city. And sometimes, projects can experience severe delays as experts search locations for artifacts of historic value. A good example of this is the long-awaited Metro C, a vital urban transport network that has been in limbo since 2006. According to ABC News, planners have been desperately searching for architecturally sterile areas where they can build new infrastructure while causing minimum disruption. Yet so far, their efforts have been largely in vain. In fact, one hopeful site in the city's Piazza Venezia ended up containing the project's most significant discovery yet. While hunting for a feasible spot to build exits for the new metro line, experts unearthed a pair of ornate stairways. And now, they suspect that a covered amphitheater once existed where the piazza now stands. In fact, ABC News reports, the relics could be part of Hadrian's Athenaeum, a famous auditorium where philosophers and intellectuals once spoke. Back in Frataki, the construction of a new McDonald's was a far less ambitious undertaking than anything related to the Metro C. Unlike the Piazza Venezia in the heart of Rome, the site of this project was located on the outskirts of the ancient city. Even here, though, the past is never truly far away. In fact, by the 5th century BC, Bovoli, which would later become Frataki, was already an important Latin city. And later it became an important stop on a trading route that stretched across much of Italy. Eventually, in 52 BC it served as the backdrop to a violent struggle between the politicians Milo and Clodius, kicking off a period of unrest throughout Rome. Over the course of Bovoli's long history, a number of fascinating buildings were constructed. These included a circus, theater school and a temple to the god Vievus. Was it the remains of one of these, then, that workers stumbled upon beneath modern Frataki? Or was there a different kind of secret hidden under the city streets? While excavating the ground in preparation for the new McDonald's, workers found something that nobody expected: a cache of Roman relics. But that wasn't all. As the project ground to a halt and archaeologists were called in to study the area, another discovery was made, this time a grim reminder of another time. Beneath the construction site, experts unearthed the skeletons of 3 adult men. Later, while excavating the nearby area, they discovered a 4th set of human remains. Clearly, something strange and sinister had been lurking beneath Frataki for centuries. Though what exactly was it? And how did McDonald's bosses decide to deal with this unexpected turn of events? As archaeologists studied the site, the team soon realized that they were looking at the remains of an ancient Roman road. Also, it wasn't just any old route. This particular stretch would once have joined up with the famous Appian Way. First begun in 312 BC, this road would go on to become one of the most important in the entire empire. Sometimes dubbed Queen of the Roads, the Appian Way eventually stretched from Rome all the way to Brindisi, which is an outpost more than 350 miles to the south. Even today, over 2,000 years after its construction, sections of the paved track can still be seen. Though in other places, the route has been lost to time. In the case of this latest discovery, experts believe that the ruins were once an offshoot of the main path. Rome's superintendent of archaeology Alfonsino Russo told The Telegraph in 2017, "We think it was a side road that connected the Appian Way to a settlement or maybe an important property, such as the villa of a rich noble or an imperial estate." Sadly, only this section survived, the rest was destroyed, Russo continued. But it's of great historical importance. The Appian Way was traveled by famous figures such as the Roman poet Horace, who recounted his journey from Rome to Brindisi in his satires. In fact, the wordsmith was just one of many wanderers who walked this historic road. So, what of the 4 people who remained tied to the Appian Way even in death? According to The Telegraph, this particular section of road was constructed in the 2nd century BC. Within 500 years, though, the route had been abandoned. And until archaeologists uncovered its remains, it had lain hidden for over 1,700 years. Apparently, the human remains found at the Frataki site were likely buried there after the road had fallen into disrepair. Speaking to The Telegraph, archaeologist Pamela Serino said, "The skeletons belonged to 3 men, the oldest of whom was aged 35 to 40. The 4th individual, meanwhile, was found to be concealing a rather macabre secret. In the mouth of the skeleton, experts discovered a coin, as per The Telegraph. According to Roman mythology, deceased souls must cross the river Styx in order to reach the afterlife. And tokens such as this were often buried alongside the dead as an offering to Charon, who was believed to serve as the ferryman." Now, you might think that the people at McDonald's would have been disgruntled by finding a slice of ancient history in the exact place where they were planning to build. Yet The Telegraph notes that they actually donated money towards the excavation, funding archaeologists to the tune of just over $350,000. As they worked, the team uncovered some 150 feet of Roman road, which stretched over 7 feet across. In other words, it was a substantial discovery, and not one that could be easily circumvented by the construction project. Happily, though, McDonald's bosses came up with a solution that has preserved this piece of history for all to see. In a move believed to be the first of its kind, the restaurant chain decided to combine its planned outlet with a museum showcasing the Roman remains. And so, they cleaned up the stones and installed a layer of transparent glass above the ancient road. 3 years after the remarkable discovery, the restaurant opened, offering visitors a side order of history alongside their burgers and fries. Arriving at the Frataki branch of McDonald's, signs written in both Italian and English explain the story behind this stretch of road. Once inside, customers can descend to a lower level and explore the ruins themselves, treading the same path walked by legionaries some 2,000 years ago. Meanwhile, for those who prefer to keep things at a distance, the restaurant above offers bird's-eye views of the remains thanks to its transparent floor. While enjoying their choice of fast food, visitors can peer down on the paved surface of the road, perhaps imagining life in the glory days of Rome. Or, they can simply enjoy the novelty of dining in such a unique place. "This is our first museum restaurant," McDonald's Italia head Mario Federico told The Telegraph. And in a surprisingly altruistic move, the chain is not limiting access to restaurant customers. According to reports, visitors can access the site from the car park, meaning that they do not have to eat at the outlet to observe the ancient remains. But if it's just a glimpse of Roman road that visitors are expecting, they might get more than they bargained for. Alongside the remains, bosses have displayed 3 of the 4 skeletons that were found during excavation work. Though don't worry. They shouldn't put you off of your food too much. According to British newspaper The Independent, the real skeletons were removed before the restaurant opened. And in their place, bosses installed 3 resin casts. According to Federico, the entire operation has showcased how companies such as McDonald's, often maligned for its ubiquitous presence, can work towards the greater good. "We've been able to return a stretch of Roman road to the local community and to the whole of Italy," Federico explained. The project is a good example of how the public and private sectors can collaborate effectively on reclaiming cultural heritage. And while it is the chain's only restaurant cum museum, the Frataki branch of McDonald's is far from the only outlet with an unusual twist. In the Hungarian city of Budapest, for example, customers visiting the McDonald's inside Nyagati station are in for a dazzling architectural treat. Designed by the same company which built the famous Eiffel Tower in Paris, it features a beautiful stucco ceiling. And the branch is generally regarded as the most luxurious of the chain's outlets around the world. Meanwhile, over in the United States, there are at least 2 McDonald's branches that offer an experience a little out of the ordinary. In Roswell, New Mexico, everything is about aliens, and the local fast food outlets are no exception. Back in the 1940s, many believe, a mysterious craft crashed near this desert town, sparking conspiracy theories that continue to this day. Though, did extraterrestrials really land in Roswell? While the answer may never be known, locals have embraced the connection with aplomb. And even the McDonald's on Main Street is no exception. The building is shaped like a giant UFO. At night, neon lights in the traditional colors of red and yellow complete the otherworldly atmosphere. Some 2,000 miles to the east, in New York City, is a McDonald's that sits at the other end of the aesthetic spectrum. Built in the 18th century, Denton House in Long Island's New Hyde Park was a much-loved local landmark before the fast food chain acquired it in 1985. And when McDonald's announced plans to demolish the structure, it was met with fierce opposition. Thanks to some dedicated campaigning, though, Denton House was saved. Designated a historic landmark in 1988, it was protected from development, forcing McDonald's to change tact. Today, it operates a modern drive-through around the back of the building, and it is obligated to maintain the historic exterior in its original condition. Amazingly, there is even a McDonald's restaurant that seats its customers inside a World War II-era plane. Located outside the branch in Taupo, New Zealand, this decommissioned DC-3 was left behind by the previous owners of the site. Today, it reportedly boasts enough room for 20 people to dine in some truly unique surroundings. Though none of these branches offer an experience quite as memorable as the McDonald's in Frataki outside Rome. And with new outlets opening every day around the world, it is probably only a matter of time before the fast-forward giant uncovers another staggering find. If so, we must hope that the same care is taken to preserve history for future generations. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.